Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to rescue an underexposed image to turn a picture like this into a picture like this. Hi, I'm Adam and welcome to First Man Photography. And before we get into the video, if you haven't done so already, head over to firstmanphotography.com, fill in your details to join the email list, and I'll send you a free copy of the ebook on how to capture perfect exposure every time. Okay, let's get into this. Sometimes mistakes happen, and they happen to the best of us. Imagine a situation where you're presented with an amazing photo opportunity. So you're there with your camera, you line up an incredible composition, you know it's going to be a great shot, pull the trigger, and then you look down and are horrified when you see that you've underexposed it, and then your photo opportunity has gone. This could have happened because your auto exposure or semi-auto exposure mode has been thrown off, or if you're shooting in manual, you've just simply made a mistake. Now, many would argue that you should not rescue your images and you've got to get everything right in camera all the time. Now, I don't agree with this. I think post-processing is a big part of what we do, and if we make a little mistake with the exposure, we can do something about it to rescue that image. Now, this image may not find its way onto someone's wall or into your portfolio, but we can still, in this day of sharing images on Facebook and Instagram where the resolution is low, we can still use that image to put some content out there and to really help build our following. So let's get into Lightroom and I'll show you how I did it. Okay, so here we are and we go straight into Lightroom, and this is the image we're going to be working with. It's a 2-minute long exposure that I took at Bassenthwaite Lake in the Lake District. Now, I'd been out shooting other locations and I wanted to grab this image just as I was leaving, but I didn't use my exposure calculator. I was rushing a little bit and then I made a mistake and ended up with an underexposed image like this. Now, I think it's probably about 2 stops underexposed, so I'm way out. So let's go through it and see if we can improve things. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is to remove that vignette that often comes from long exposures anyway, but because I've underexposed it, it's much more pronounced. So I'm going to go straight down to the lens correction area and enable profile corrections. Now, I don't want any distortion correction, so I'm going to reduce that to 0 and then increase that vignette to 200 to remove as much of that natural lens vignette as possible. Not a massive difference, but it's a start. So I'm going to go up to the top and make my standard adjustments first. Now, just to show you, if we increase it by sort of 1.5 to 2 stops, that's somewhere in the range of how much out I am with this exposure. But I'm not actually going to adjust that because I want to bring that exposure up in other ways. So the first thing I'm going to do is give it a contrast boost to somewhere around there, about 34, 35, just to bring out some of the details in the sky and bring out some of those colours. So I think I'm going to reduce the highlights a little bit just to give myself a slightly more balanced exposure and get some of the details out of the highlight areas there. Next thing I'm going to do is increase the shadows a little bit, and that's going to start to bring some of the detail out in the foreground. Next, I want to increase the whites because I want to bring the true white into it if you look up here in your histogram. So I'm going to start by dragging that up until it hits the edge, and somewhere around 40 is about right, I think. And you can start to see some detail coming through, but I want to increase the saturation and the vibrance as well to really bring out some of those colors that are existing in that picture. So let's go with the vibrance slider and pull it up to about 35. You don't want to overdo it because you want it to still look natural, and then the saturation slider up to something around about there, I think, maybe a little bit less. There, that looks about right to me. Now, this is where we're going to really bring out some of the detail and rescue that exposure, and I'm going to use the gradient here. So click the gradient tool. The first one I want to do is bring out some of the detail in the foreground. So I'm going to drag a gradient up from the bottom to the top, and if you hold shift down, it keeps everything straight, and then put my filter in. And I want the central line to be somewhere around here because I've still got this sort of hill that I want to bring out some detail in that. So I'm going to increase that by about 1.5 stops, I think, which is somewhere around where I was. Because if you go too far, as you can see, because it's all in shadow, you really start to introduce a lot of noise in those bottom two corners. You can really see that color noise and that luminance. It's not very nice. So I'm going to keep it at around 1.5, somewhere at 1.38, something like that. And you can still see a bit of the detail, but it's not getting too noisy. I'm also going to increase the temperature just a little bit to start bringing some detail out in that water. I also want to bring some more of the detail out of that vignette. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more, draw a couple more gradients in. Now I don't want as much this time, so I'm going to go with about half a stop and a little bit of warmth as well, I think there. And then I'm going to drag in from the corners to bring out some of that detail. So one there, and then one there. And that's starting to look a lot better in the sky. So I'm also going to put in a gradient from the top to the bottom to really bring out the detail in that sky. And rather than add in exposure this time, I'm going to reduce it just a little bit to bring out some of the detail in that sky. And it doesn't need a lot, so somewhere around minus 0.27, something like that will do the trick. So as you can see, I've really started to bring some detail out in that now. And I'm going to go ahead and add a bit more warmth to the image. So I'm going to drag this up to somewhere around there, I think, and I'm really starting to like this image. Now, with my landscapes, I generally like to add a little bit of pink if it hasn't come in already naturally. So somewhere around 12 to 15, I think, will work nicely for that image. And that's starting to add some really nice color, or bring out those colors that are already there in the image. So it's starting to look good, but I've still lost a lot of detail in this hill. So I just want to bring the exposure up a little bit on this hill, and I'm going to do that by using the brush tool. Now I want to just reset all the settings there and then just start to paint your mask into this hill area. And you can add your exposure already, but I'm going to do that after I've done it. Adjust the size of your brush with bracket keys and then just paint that in. So I've already painted my mask over all of the hill area, and then I'm just going to increase the exposure by raising the shadows in this. So I'm going to go in for quite a bit on here, not too much, again, because you see all that noise starting to come out if you go too far. So I'm going to bring it down to somewhere around here, maybe 39. And it's very subtle, but you're starting to see some detail come out in that hill, and it really makes the difference to that image. I'm also going to add a little bit of warmth to it. Okay, so I'm happy with that, and I'm just going to quickly remove these two little marks here with my spot removal tool very quickly. Now, the last thing to do is to remove some of that noise that's still present in that image. This is a key point of rescuing your images, and you don't want to go too far in most circumstances, because adding noise reduction will increase the softness of your image and you lose a lot of detail. However, in my image here, it's actually quite a soft image anyway, so I can get away with adding quite a lot of noise reduction. So come down or make your way to the noise reduction tab here, and I'm going to drag that luminance up first, and that will smooth everything out. And I'm going to go quite high on this to somewhere around 73. And if we zoom in on this area here, you can start to see some of that noise has started to go away. It's still there and present, so I'm going to add some of the color noise reduction as well. Again, I'm going to go quite high on this, somewhere to around there, and it will remove some of the color noise from there as well. You really need to be careful with this, but for the image I have here, it's actually not working out too badly, going pretty crazy on that. So as you can see, we've gone from an image like this to an image like this, and I'm quite satisfied with the results I've managed to pull there. So as you can see, it's not that difficult to do, and you end up with some decent images that you can share on things like Instagram and Facebook. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button and leave a comment down below to let me know what you think about rescuing images. Should we do it? Shouldn't we? I want to find out. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. There's videos going up on a Wednesday and a Sunday every week, and I'll see you on another video very soon. I'm Adam. This is First Man Photography.